Welcome. This is Noah's Ark Nursery. I am Corrina. I am the mommy. Welcome. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. Thank you for joining us again in the Ark today. This is, of course, my second video. My first video I did trains, tractors, and trucks. And now I'm going to do, this video is Dress Up Thursday, hosted by Stephanie and Jackie over at In Love for Reborns 2011. And today they have chosen vintage. I must say that I actually had a chance to go get some vintage clothes for my babies, but I didn't realize it. We apparently have vintage stores in the area, and I'm going to Google and find out where they are. But there's also an event that we have, a vintage event that I must say before I get into anything else in this video, that it's a vintage event that like has everything from like clothes for me and clothes for my husband, or just everything vintage. Even like I want to go, it's called 717, and I even want to go and look because I want to see if I can find a vintage swing for my nursery. Maybe some other kind of vintage things. Maybe some vintage baby clothes. Maybe I can find some vintage pacifiers. Just all things vintage are there. It's like a huge event. But that's not till July. But there are stores. I'm going to have to Google them and find out where they are. It won't be that hard. All I have to do is put in vintage in York, Pennsylvania, and see what comes up. But anyway, since I didn't really have any vintage clothing, I do have vintage dolls to show you. If you guys remember, George, the guy who owns the store that I go into to get all my natural stuff, he gave me a bunch of his grandmother and mother's dolls. He gave me the collection, and it wasn't a big collection, but this is a pretty old collection. This is an antique collection, so I hope this is okay with Stephanie and Jackie. I'm sorry, I don't have any real vintage like clothes for the girls. I do have Hannah does have a character pacifier, so it'll be vintage and character today. Because Hannah has a vintage pacifier, well, not a vintage, but a character one. But other than that, I have out my vintage dolls. And I want to show you guys some vintage stuff in my house, if you guys don't mind. I want to show you guys some of my vintage things that I have here that are antique and vintage in my home. So let's get started, guys. I'm going to first show you guys the dolls. First doll I'm going to show you, the first two anyway, I'm going to show you are in here. I know I'm holding this because I want to walk around the house with it, and I can't do it with the tripod. But this is about the oldest doll I have. This was actually George's grandmother's doll right here. Look at that. I don't know how antique or vintage. Maybe Stephanie can give me a hint how vintage some of these dolls are that I'm showing. But she is in a vintage outfit. I don't even know what kind she is. And then I have this vintage little guy, as you can see. They're in pretty good shape. Somebody made that outfit for him, so they're in pretty good shape. They usually lay in this little cradle thingy on the floor. But as you can see, this one, I'm going to show you this one totally. As you can see. Whoa, I'm going to try to go up and down. Sorry, guys, I'm trying not to have this go off on me, but I'm trying not to. But this is about the most vintage one I have right here. Then I have, now one of these was George's mom's, and one of these was his grandmother's as well. This one, they're not in like really super duper, they are vintage and they are antique, as you can see. And of course they have vintage outfits on, so I guess that counts. Maybe? Let me know, Stephanie, if this was okay. I hope this is okay with Stephanie and Jackie that I'm doing it this way. But then I have two vintage, these are I think porcelain dolls. Matter of fact, I know they're porcelain. They're just not like, anyway, these are more cuddle porcelain dolls. These are Heritage Mint 2000. This is, now these I do have names for. This is Isaac Jacob and Isabella Jacqueline. They're twins, so I thought I would give them twin names. Then, of course, you guys know my toddler twins. Hazel. Hazel. Mommy, I'm trying to play with my toy. I know you are. They're just here playing with their dollies. Yes, but Mommy's not letting us, guys. She's like bothering me. I'm sorry. And this is, of course, Hattie. They are my Madam Alexander twins. Let me show you. They are my Madam Alexander twins, as you can see. I know that and of course, honey, can you pick Hattie up? Yep. And of course, Hazel is playing with a doll that I got from a thrift store. Somewhere on here, there's a button, and she says something. She does, Mommy? Yes, she does. But I got to find the button first. There's a button on her, and she says something. I think this one says I love you, or this one giggles. This one might giggle. I don't know where the button is. There's a button on her. And she says something. I know there's a button on this one. Now Hattie's giggles. And Hazel's, Mommy, mine doesn't say anything. We'll figure it out. But anyway, I thought I'd take you guys and show you some of the vintage stuff in my house. Those were just my vintage dolls. This is a vintage table. This table is probably about as old as I am. This was my aunt's table, and she gave it to my mom. And when my mom got a new dining room set, they put it away for me, for my hoop chest. This table is probably as old as I am. Maybe older. This is a Pennsylvania house, guys. They're very good furniture, as you can see. It's been through a lot. This hutch cupboard right here, my father bought this for my mother. Ow. When they got married. This is actually 62 years old. The china in it, that's vintage because that my grandmother bought. That's 62 years old. My grandmother gave this to my parents when they got married. And then these are vintage. These are Hummels. They're vintage. They were given to me by my mother-in-law after my husband's step-grandmother died. That's weird. That's weird. Things will move in my cabinet. I'm sorry. But anyway, then I'm going to take you guys into the nursery quick. I have an antique chest in here. Now, the bouncer set's on it, but this is an antique chest that just has a bunch of stuff on it. As you can see, it's got the heartwork there. It's got the flowers there. I hope you guys are enjoying this. And then this, look who's sleeping in it, Savannah. This is my cradle. I can tell you this cradle is almost 52 years old, guys. Right there. That cradle is almost 52 years old. So that's definitely vintage. Maybe even antique. Then we're going to go across the hall to the other room. I'm going to show you this stand that has some books on it. Here, I'll move these so you guys can see it better. This is just a stand with a lamp on it, but it's also got drawers in it. I don't know what's in all these drawers. I haven't cleaned them out in years. I haven't touched these drawers in years. I can't even tell you all what's in them. But I got to get in there and I've got to clean them out. Of course, there's Mariah. Say hi to Mariah. But anyway, and of course, you just caught a glimpse of the giveaway doll, guys. Right here. This is the giveaway doll. Now, I am going to remind you all that I still have the video up and you guys can still enter. So, I reminded you on our last video. I'm going to remind you now. You guys can still go over and enter on the 200 subscriber video, giveaway video that I put up. That way I can cut them off later today, maybe. I'd like to cut them off tonight if I can, or tomorrow morning, maybe, Friday. because I'd like to get the list compiled so that we can make the drawing on Sunday. If I can figure it out, I know some of you out there do live all the time. Stephanie, you do live all the time, honey. Can you tell me how I do it? How do I do it? I've never done a live video, and I want to do a live video for Jeremiah's birthday party on May the 5th. May the 5th, Jeremiah will be 3 years old. So we are going to invite everybody, I'm going to remind everybody every video now, to his birthday party. He would like if all his aunties could come. And so we are extending an invitation to all Jeremiah's aunties out there and his uncles, that whoever wants to come can come and enjoy him, seeing him open his presents and his cake. And yes, he will have a cake. I'm going to have the woman who makes our dog treats, she's going to make him a cake for me. And we're going to have balloons, and we're going to have a game for him to play. And I might invite 2 of the dogs from the neighborhood that he likes. I promise you, the Chihuahua will not be here. They do not like each other. I promise you, he won't be here. But the other 2 might. But they're girls. The one girl he likes, but I don't think she likes him. But she's a Shih Tzu, so. But the other one really likes him. So he does have some doggy friends in the neighborhood, some friends that we could invite. And I know he would invite Cooper. If I could get our neighbor a couple doors down to bring their Cocker Spaniel, who was just, oh my goodness. Jeremiah goes crazy when he sees him. Loves him. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the vintage thing as I showed you. I know I showed them kind of fast, so I can go back and show them again. I don't have a lot of vintage clothing for my babies. I do have a character for you to see. I think it's Chloe from Paw Patrol. Of course, Hannah's pacifier is Chloe from Paw Patrol. So, and she has on actually a bunny short set that I'll show you guys quick before I go. I don't want to make this too long. That is all of Jeremiah's toys, guys. Look at all that. They are some toys down there, aren't there? Now, they're underneath the coffee table. Now, the coffee table could be considered vintage, too, because this coffee table we bought before we got married. This is at least 26 years old right here. I don't get rid of anything. Heck, our mattress is 26 years old. I don't get rid of anything, guys. I am like probably one of the cheapest people in the world, probably. Okay, and then we have, of course, Chloe and Hannah's mouths. And, of course, Hannah has on a bunny short set. She's just going to stay in her bouncer for right now. And, of course, I have a bow headband in her hair. But I just want to show you the vintage stuff one more time. Here's some of the vintage dolls that I have. These were given to me by George. So I don't know what they are. But George did find out for me what these 2 are. My Madam Alexander twins, I call them, Hazel and Hattie. Hazel, can we look at you again? No, Mommy, I would like to play with my doll, please. Okay. How about you, Hattie? Can we look at you again? No, Mommy, I want to play with my doll. Okay. Man, they're being very fussy today. Those 2, I tell you. But then my antique table, my antique hutch with my antique china, and then of course this antique chest, which I do store things in here. I've got to clean this out though so that I can start storing other stuff in there. Then of course that's antique, but that's not in really great condition. I keep some of Hannah's clothes in here. Hold on, guys. I keep some of Hannah's clothes in here because Hannah's got a lot of clothes. So, and yes, there's the tripod. Now you see where I put the tripod. And then this. Of course, this is all, I'll move that quick. Of course, this is just a stand. And I know this isn't probably in the best of condition, but, you know, it's vintage. What can I say? But you can get some really nice vintage stuff in great condition. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little vintage tour of my house. I hope that was okay with Stephanie and Jackie, that I did that over at In Love with Reborns 2011. I know you all have heard about them, and you guys have gone over to their channel. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for joining us in the Ark for vintage, to see all of our vintage stuff in the Ark. Right now I showed you. Actually, I do have one more thing vintage in the house I want to show, that I could show you. My washer and my dryer. Now, keep in mind when I show you this that it's like a mess back there. I mean a mess back there. I'm not exactly organized back there, but I'm going to show it to you guys anyway, because I know you guys won't mind seeing it. I hope not anyway. But I have a vintage washer and dryer. I think that I know they didn't come with this. This is 23 years old this year. We have lived here for 8 years. The person who lived here was an elderly woman. The person who bought this, sorry guys, my nose is itching and I'm trying not to put you guys up in my nose, sorry. But I do have a vintage washer and dryer as well. So I'll show you that. Well, my whole house is vintage, I guess, because it's 20 years old. It's more than 20 years old. But I don't want to bore you with the details of my house. I'm pretty sure it's never been remodeled. I know we put in a new kitchen floor, but that's because we had to. I'm going to take you over. As you can see, the new rugs, guys, that I got from Rose's the other day, you know, because Jeremiah was chewing on them. But here's the other vintage thing. I know this isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but my washer and dryer. Look at my dryer, guys. You don't find dryers like this anymore. Look at this. And it's even in green. Look at that. That has to be old. I don't know how old this washer and dryer are. I know this is pretty old because of the color. Well, hello, baby. And then here's the little baby boy. Look at him. He always comes over when I come over because, first of all, that cabinet right there houses his candy. I think he thinks he's getting a piece and he's not, because he hasn't eaten lunch yet. He's got to eat his lunch first. But as you can see, guys, this washer and dryer are like really old. I don't even know what year this is from. But they don't make washers and dryers. They don't make dryers with doors like that anymore. But anyway, that is vintage. That is the vintage stuff in my house. And of course, this is probably the crown jewel of all my vintage stuff, my dining room table. And that actually goes on the coffee table, but I have Hattie and Hazel's dolls there right now so they can play. And of course, there's my vintage dolls. But I don't want this video to go too long. Jeremiah is looking at me. You guys have to see this. Hi, honey. What's the matter, baby? Huh? He's just looking around like, Mommy, no laundry. No laundry. Mommy doesn't have the laundry out. Is that okay with Joe? He's going to go over by Daddy. Of course, as I mentioned in my first video, Daddy came home early, and he has tomorrow off. I was just telling the dog walker yesterday that we had gotten really lucky and he hadn't had to take any time off. And then they went ahead and they did that. And of course, Hazel is not happy. Hazel wants Hattie's doll. So Hazel is not happy. As you can see, little Miss Hazel's over there not having a good time. But I will go take care of that. I'm going to get off of here so I can go take care of that. Poor Hazel. Her dolly won't say what it's supposed to say. I'll figure it out. I think the button ended up moving. I don't know how. I'm going to have to move the button back, I think. But anyway, I hope that you guys have a blessed and wonderful day. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm doing something special. I'm doing Friends Friday tomorrow with somebody. And we're doing something very special tomorrow. So I got to go get those babies ready for that. I hope that you guys have a blessed and wonderful day. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys. Thank you for watching my video and looking at all my vintage stuff. We really appreciated you coming and visiting us at the Ark again today. Bye.